What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on YouTube. A little special show here. This was, outside of our normal Wednesday show because we're also going to do that tomorrow. There's just too much going on. We've got a show tonight, obviously. We're going to go live again on Wednesday night, and my current plan is to have a show Thursday night with Goolsby, and then Friday morning show with myself and Cal Kelly as normal. So very busy time in the world of Notre Dame football, and as well right here on our Blue and Gold YouTube channel. For folks watching live with us, watching back, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Of course, subscribe to the channel for more content if you are new. And if you're listening via podcast, appreciate you as well. Please leave a kind review of the show wherever you are listening to the podcast. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. See Devy's in the chat, Lux, Chief Brody. Chief Brody wants to, Devin wants to know if you got a new cut. Tim, you look good, man.
Yes, thank you, Devin. Yes, that was today. I needed one so bad. I got in. I got a place down the road, and I was like, I got to get in. I woke up this morning, hair everywhere. As I always say, Mike.
Yeah.
My dad blessed me with one thing in this world, and that's a good set of hair. So I thank my dad each and every day.
Well, you need to tilt your camera back a little bit so we can see, because you're kind of chopping off your head, so we can see the rest of your hair there, Tim. There you go. It's a beautiful head of hair.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. Get Irish football and Tim's hair. Here we go.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of talk about, tons of transfer portal stuff. There's been several guys who have left Notre Dame since our last show, which would have been Wednesday. I think we did the show last Wednesday. I can't remember. It seems that last Wednesday feels like an eternity ago. So you're going to get Tim's reaction to some of those guys, the potential transfer portal players in that we know about and have reported about at Blue and Gold. Notre Dame hiring Mike Brown. Talk about Xavier Watts a little bit. Tyler Buckner, Sun Bowl, CJ Carr practicing with Notre Dame in December. Seriously, so much. It's crazy, Tim, because that news about Bo Collins, the Clemson receiver, we put him in the thumbnail of this video. That would usually be the biggest story of the month or something, or at least the week. Collins was the third most important thing of the day. Seriously, it's just mayhem right now. Tons of commitments, players leaving. Of course, Stuckey got fired early last week. It's been absolute mayhem in the past week or so.
Sorry, that's been a week.
Been a week.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah, 8 days since Freeman gave that presser where he basically confirmed. It was I want the staff back, and of course that's not what happened. But anyways, we're gonna start talking with portal entry since our last show. Braylon James, Mr. Hyde, an interesting one.
Rapid fire. Here we go.
Yeah. What was your reaction to that one?
God, where did we last end off? It's who was the last one? Gosh, were they up to 11?
Something like that, yeah. 10, 11. Yeah.
And I hate to be, it's okay. Seriously, these guys that are going to the portal, it's okay, no problem. I'm not going crazy. I'm not jumping off the deep end. It has been insane. Every time someone leaves Notre Dame, they think it's World War III. Freeman's got no control. The program's falling apart. Oh my God, full program's falling apart. It's disarray. Who's running the campus? A bunch of dudes that aren't going to play on the 2024 team have left. So that's the way I look at it. Braylon James, hey, hardly knew you, right? Seriously, what did we get? That's his decision. You go, I guess the 4 wide receivers, just lump them all together, right? You got Tyree, I just driving in. Tyree just did it, right? So he went back home to Virginia. Okay, great. He's a grad. He got his degree. He was a 4-year backup. If we're being truly honest he was a 4-year backup.
This year, I don't think you can call him a backup this year.
Yeah, but you know what? Great. If you're going to start a guy, you're going to start Greathouse over him, right? At the beginning of the year. Was he out there or was it Greathouse? I thought it was Greathouse in Navy. I'm just saying in general, not not a dude like you're going to cry, tears over. You wish him luck. Hey, thanks for
sure.
You got a bunch of touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, total offense at Notre Dame in your career. Solid football player. Congratulations. Move on. I'm cool with that. Braylon James, he's a freshman. I mean, this is what kills me with Braylon James. Notre Dame is like, you and I, Mike, could go play wide receiver. That's how bad shape they were. And you had the highest ranked wide receiver in this class. He's the Tobias Merriweather. He's the Jordan Johnson. He's the Lorenzo Styles of this signing class. Oof. And he can't get on the field. He can't get on the field with injuries, lacrosse guys showing up, on and on and on, Mike. He can't get on the field.
No.
That's what just right. I was like, okay, great. Move on.
Let me say something on the whole highest ranked thing. I think that's more of an indictment on the rankings process than anything, because if you would have asked me, he would have been my third receiver. I'm pulling up his On3 page.
But if you're going off high school film talent, Braylon
very
James
talented, but the bust potential. So,
when he was a recruit, but that's these recruiting rankings we're going to go to. Notre Dame, the highest ranked recruit 4 years in a row, has been a bust. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, Jordan Johnson, Lorenzo Styles was a 5-star by one service. I won't say that name. Jordan Johnson was a 5-star in another service. Tobias Merriweather, and now Braylon James, 4 straight. Man, I do not want to jinx the highest ranked guy in the 2024 class.
Everyone knock on wood.
I got wood right here on my mother-in-law's desk. So I'm not going to jinx 2024. So someone's got to break this cycle, right? So I'm cool with these guys leaving. Rico Flores, man, maybe I'm the only one that is.
Hold on, Tim. Just before we move to Rico, like, this is the thing. Like, James, I mean, I can't say if his college career is a bust, but it was at Notre Dame. It was at Notre Dame.
Yes.
James wasn't happy. I don't get the sense that Notre Dame was like overly thrilled with James' progress as a freshman.
Yeah.
So yeah, ranked lowest on 3. Heard a lot of crap about that last year, but is what it is. And then Lorenzo Styles was ranked as a 5-star by On3. So it's like,
exactly. You're right. You're right.
It's all somewhere in the middle on that. But yeah, Rico Flores, Tim, of all of the transfers out, this one hurts the most, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Yeah. Again, this is my take on this. This is not Michael Floyd. This is not Chase Clay. Mike, Notre Dame lost Rico Flores. Okay, this is when I saw Rico was leaving, my first thought was like, well, that stinks. He's a solid football player. He is. He's a solid football player.
Yeah.
He's a
so which one stings more?
He's an excellent. Hold on, but I'm saying he's an excellent number 3 if you're competing. And then you watch the games on this past weekend. There's not one wide receiver that's getting on the field at Oregon, Washington. There's not one wide receiver getting on the field, Georgia, Alabama. None. 0. So if Notre Dame, hold on before you jump in. If Notre Dame wants to get to that level, you have to out-recruit Rico Flores. So if Rico Flores is going to be that solid 3rd and 8, catch me the curl type guy. He is. The guy caught 1 pass this year, over 18 yards. 1. I'm talking in the air. Not a hitch, take it. 1 pass, 20 yards or more down the field. That's it. So he's not a playmaker.
A freshman. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's just a freshman.
I get it, but
he's a solid, deep guy. But no. You answer my question. Which one stings more? I said this one stings the most. And you're like, what? Yeah, you tell me which one stings the most.
Okay, so it's a light bee sting. Okay, boom, you flick that off. Mike, in this era of the portal, hold on. We're going to get into the portal. Hey, you could fill up in a heartbeat. And Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman is showing that. Like, you could lose, quote unquote, Rico Flores, the top pass catcher returning. Okay. I mean, seriously, fine. I mean, that's no problem. We're going to go replace him. And I think it's funny over this last week seeing some of these guys leaving. I'm like, man, Notre Dame is not going to be a great football program until they start out recruiting dudes on the roster. And I think they're doing that. They're out recruiting guys. So me personally, The class of 2024 on film, quote unquote, on film, is a better group of wide receivers than the 23 one. And these portal guys are going to replace these four that are leaving. I don't think anyone's going to bat an eye when 2024 rolls around. That's just my opinion on this.
I am with you that last week was the biggest overreaction. People lost their damn mind. It was insane. Notre Dame fan. I
Yes.
mean, Drunk Vigo has been with us on so many shows. He lost his mind last Wednesday, or was it Wednesday or Sunday, whatever it was. He's
Right.
like, he asked me, he's like, ban me, bro. I can't do this. I'm done. And so I did. So Drunk Vigo, you know where to find me if you need to change your
That's
mind
what
on
I'm
that.
like. Why
You're
is
welcome
the
back. But guys, like, look at what's transpiring now this week. Like,
exactly?
how many times do I need to tell you guys that Notre Dame, like, and Freeman, little bit cutthroat. He's a bulldog. They're going to move, like, they are going to improve
Yes.
no matter what. Like, this is just what it is. So if guys are leaving, a lot of times
Hold
that's
on,
going
put
to
up
be
this
because
super
Notre
chat.
Dame wants them out.
Yeah, put up this super chat. This is awesome.
Wait.
I mean,
Hold on.
Are you okay? Save it. I'm just reading this. I'm like,
So no,
this is the overreaction right here. I
so
would love to get into.
but of all of them, Rico stings the most. Even if it's
Sure,
not a biggest sting, it
sure.
does.
It's a sting. It's a sting. Rico Flores is a sting. Notre Dame is going to be okay without Rico.
They are going to be okay, but you
So
also
it's
need, like, I think Rico Flores is a really nice piece to have in your program for 3 or 4 years, man. Like, you can't have all Cam Williams across the field at Notre Dame. It's the goal, but you're just not going to.
Hold on. There are thousands of Rico Floreses. There are thousands of them. He is not a burst guy. What not, Mike? Mike, he's an intermediate dude. That's what he was this year. He was a solid freshman. But why did he play? Why did he play? And this is what no one's talked about, because the absolutely brutal recruiting for 4 straight years forced these guys to play. That's the only reason why Notre Dame's are losing their minds. Like, oh my God, we're losing these freshmen. Yeah, the only reason why you know about them is because the last few classes have been atrocious. They've been bad. And then you obviously tap on the injuries. I don't know, man. I have not lost any sleep over Notre Dame losing these guys. And because I think there's better football players coming, and they're going to go to the transfer portal, and you could find dudes willing to come to Notre Dame for one season. So that's just my take. Whether it's wrong or right, people want to lose their mind and get upset and say, "Oh my God, these are great players." You're gonna find plenty of them. Mike, how many times has Mike Singer and Tim Hyde talked? Thousands of wide receivers in America. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
You just gotta find them. We're gonna see with Smith. Smith was when he committed to Notre Dame was ranked like 900th. All right, he was a nobody. Same thing with Saldate this year. He's like right around 1,000, and he shot up with his great senior year. And there's so many wide receivers. You just gotta keep looking for
Yeah,
them.
there is, but the Rico is there in your program, you coach. Andrew Gilmore, I appreciate the super.
So why did he leave? It's like he's there for 1 year and he bailed. So he bailed.
Andrew Gilmore, thank you for the super chat. We're not gonna. I love the super chats, but I'm not gonna pop up a super chat where you guys are like throwing. Like if you guys are gonna criticize us super chat, like I'm just not gonna do that for $5. Like it's just not really. We take a lot of punches in the YouTube comments and stuff. Like I'm not gonna like willingly, you guys, throw shade at us. But Andrew, I appreciate the super chat.
I didn't even read it.
GCJ, it's a relative sting. Our room isn't worse because Rico's not in it. Losing Tobias upside hurts more, in my opinion. Juicy J. I think we talked about Tobias last week, Tim, so we're not going to talk about him now. We need to keep moving.
Once again, we're talking
Tim, tight end. What do you think about that one?
Oh, I mean, solid player. I mean, he is. He's a good football player. But if there's one position you could lose a guy at, I mean, it's tight end. Notre Dame's got. I mean, they're going to have 3 tight ends in the bowl game. You're going to have Flanagan, obviously Raritan, Sherwood, and you're bringing in Larson. Mitch Evans will be this year's Eli Raritan. He'll be back probably Octoberish, I would guess, with his time frame and whatnot. So Notre Dame will be fine. No, I mean, solid football player. He really is. He's a good player. I loved his high school film. He's one of my favorite guys. obviously played a little as a freshman and had the great early season success, and then kind of drifted off as Evans got going, and then Raritan came back, and we didn't see much his days. So good player. I mean, once again, that's not like, hey, see ya, slap him on the butt, slam the door on him. No, he's good football player. But at tight end, that's one position Notre Dame would go to the tight portal if they ever wanted to, and tight ends would be arm wrestling to get to Notre Dame. So I think that's a spot if in the future someone leaves, they will always be able to find a really good tight end.
And then defensive backs, Ramon Henderson, Ryan Barnes, Antonio Carter. Carter, that was the guy we were pretty excited about when he committed to Notre Dame over the
summer, right?
Summer,
June.
spring.
Yeah.
I mean, garbage time. I mean, that was one of the things that like no one talks about, I feel like, during the season. And me and you would be like, dude, you know Antonio Carter, Notre Dame brought him here. He was a big time portal pickup. He had offers from a lot of P5 schools out of Rhode Island. Just did not really play. Thomas Harper, I think, kind of just, I think Carter maybe was going to be able to play that Harper nickel role, but Harper's just so much better. Ramon Henderson didn't play it. I mean, he was a solid, backup. And then Ryan Barnes just never really got on the field. So
yeah,
I do wonder, with all these 3 safeties gone, Notre Dame really can't afford to lose Xavier Watts, who is playing. We'll talk about Watts later, but
sure.
I have to wonder, and kind of looking at that, does that mean that Watts could come back? Like Notre Dame kind of knowing, like, hey, Watts is coming back. So anyways, thoughts on those 3?
Yeah, just real quick on Henderson. I mean, Henderson's a grad, so he's a grad transfer. And either, grad transfers, he's got to come back and be a dude and not just rotational guy. It's kind of like Tyree. Tyree's leaving because Notre Dame's got really good slot receivers. So his position in 2024 is the same. I think Ramon probably could be the same thing. He's probably thinking like they could bring a transfer in. Does this guy step up? But when guys get their degree and move on for last year, Tyree, Henderson, Zeke, and those guys, hey, man, I have no issues with that whatsoever. Carter's interesting, but I think he was one of those, hey, we got an extra scholarship. Let's go get a really good athlete, because there's been some really good 1AA, FCS guys, whatever you want to call them, moving up, have had success. They took a gamble on him. Didn't work out. He's leaving, so be it. And who else? Oh, Barnes. Yeah, Barnes was never able to get on the field, and that has to do with the really good corners that have gotten on the field the last couple of times.
So I wanted to say this until we got a bigger crowd in here, which I think we do at this point. For our show tomorrow night, we're doing more of a super chat focused show, super chats. And I just got this program where people can send in voice memos. So I opened that up to our blueandgold.com subscribers, which if you are not one of them, our current offer for our YouTube audience and podcast audience is $1 gets you access for 2 months if you're a new subscriber. Promo code UND1. So check that out. So that's gonna be much more focused on kind of Q&A. So if you really have something you want to ask us, I would probably hang out towards later in the show because there's a decent chance we're probably going to talk about it anyways. But Tim, let's go through. We do have a couple super chats real quick. Just wanted to thank these people for their donations. Patrick says, how do our transfers compare to the other transfers from top tier teams?
It's I mean, it just opened. It just opened. I mean, Notre Dame. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it just opened. So no one's out there committing. And obviously the first thing that the dominoes are going to be the quarterbacks. So no quarterbacks. You see them all setting up visits. DJ, obviously Riley Leonard. Oh, the Louisville got the Texas Tech guy. Slow, is it? He's a pretty good quarterback. So he's going to Louisville. That's the first true one to see. So Dylan Gabriel's going to Oregon. It looks like you see Lincoln Riley's going to get his. He's going to get the K-State quarterback.
Yeah.
I saw.
Patrick.
So it's still out. It's way too early, man. There's guys still going in the thing.
Patrick, thank you for the super chat. Tim D says, agree with Hyde on the talent level at receiver, but any chance Stuckey exit resulted in philosophical differences between him, Parker, and Freeman. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think those guys didn't. I think there was some butting of heads between Stuckey and maybe Parker and probably Freeman. I think that was part of it. From what I was told, there was a lot of things that kind of added up to Freeman letting him go last week.
Yeah, and I'll say real quick on that. I said this last week. When a coach gets fired, as soon as the season ends, it had been in the work. It's been on his mind. It's been on his yellow legal pad, and like he said, he thought about it more and more. Made the decision. I think it's a great decision. He's been here 2 years. Sometimes you got to have a little bit of change to get ready for year three. Holtz did that in '87 before the great '88 year. So it happens in a coaching staff. There's no need to keep diving into that. He's a wide receiver coach who got fired. Life moves on.
Sound like an old school ball coach, Tim.
I mean, hey, there's guys that get fired all the time, and it's like it's not earth shattering. The program's in disarray. A guy got fired, you replaced him less than a week. There you go.
The thing that can drive me crazy at times on our message board is people like, Mike, tell us what happened about Chancey Stuckey. I'm like, guys, I've given my thoughts on this and told you everything I know like 20 times. Like, you just go through my posting history. Like, I feel like I've talked about it on our YouTube channel. I've talked about it on our message board. So it's all there. I mean, I keep talking about it. So yeah, I think that's what it is. I think there's a lot of different things kind of adding up, and I feel pretty confident in that. And yeah, well, there's a lot out there, and Goolsby has been sounding off on social media and whatnot about that. But
Well, it's 2 years. It obviously has been a bad wide receiver room for 2 years, whether it's players, coaching, all. It's just been a bad mixture for 2 years. That's been the Achilles heel, let's say it, for the last 2 years, right? If we're being honest, true wide receiver. That's why Michael Mayer had to do what he had to do. This year, Evans was becoming Michael Mayer before his injury. It's what happens, and sometimes the coach, has to get a kick in the pants, and life moves on, man. That's part of coaching. People get fired for program performance. It sounds like these players didn't like him, these players didn't like him, or these players did. At the end of the day, that's a toxic room that needs to get flushed out, repainted, start from scratch. And I think that's what he decided.
yeah, speaking of moving on, life will move on, but it'll move on a lot better if you have some Barb Stevenson art in your home. And it'll definitely make your loved ones home even better as well. So, folks, it's holiday season, so make sure you at least consider Barb Stevenson art for any gifts. It is your premier destination for stunning pen and ink limited edition prints of the University of Notre Dame. South Bend's own award-winning artist Barb Stevenson skillfully captures the essence and beauty of Notre Dame's campus through her intricate pen and ink prints, which she meticulously enhances with hand-painted metallic gold accents, making each print unique and one of a kind. Let's explore her fabulous selection of prints to discover that perfect piece that resonates with your love for Notre Dame, or of course, that loved one in your family. Up on the screen on our YouTube show right now, we have the Notre Dame Collage Iconic Trio with three of the most loved buildings on the campus. You got the Basilica, the Golden Dome, and of course, Touchdown Jesus. This second print, you got the Grotto, which depicts one of the most quiet and serene places on the campus, a very popular spot for prayer and meditation, as well as weddings, proposals, and visitors on football weekends. And speaking of visitors on football weekends, you'll often have recruits at this spot right here. Shot number 3 is the Notre Dame Golden Dome, and then number 4, the shining view of the Golden Dome. And there's more prints on her website, which is BARBSTEPHENSON.com. That's barbstevenson.com. So to purchase or view her art, check out the website barbstevenson.com. Give her a call, 574-210-8388. Order now for the holidays and receive free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. All right, Tim, that definitely took longer than I expected in terms of the portal transfers out. So let's talk about some of the guys who are coming in. First, we have a young man named Chris Mitchell from Florida International. I'll pull up his stats here in just a moment, Tim. But this has got to be a pretty exciting one with his speed. Let's see. In 38 career games, hauled in 100 passes for 1,663 yards and 12 touchdowns. This past year alone, 64 of those 100 receptions, 1,118 yards and 7 touchdowns. So receiving yardage ranked 13 in the FBS, and 5.3 receptions per game, number 42. Yards per reception, 17.47, number 40th in the nation. So pretty explosive receiver, Tim. What are your thoughts about this one?
It's step number one. Like I just said, as far as cleaning out the room, replenishing that thing, bringing in new, some new bodies. And yeah, I mean, he's outstanding. I mean, you just watch his film and you're like, yeah, go for it. So he's really good. He's fast. He's got playmaking ability. Once again, you got wide receivers all over the country. People don't want to believe it. People think, oh, if you don't go to a Power 5 out of high school, you're not a dude. Well, just watch the NFL. There's plenty of guys, as we see all the time. So he's he darn good football player. All you have to do is watch film. So, and he wants to go to Notre Dame, play on the bigger stage, obviously, for a 6th year. And, good luck to him. So I mean, he's fine. It's exciting when you get all the negativity with, all these great wide receivers Notre Dame has just lost. Well, boom, here you go. They're gone. Time to start great wide receivers in quotes, as some fans think they are. You have new guys coming on. I think Notre Dame is going to bring in 3 portal guys. You got some guys coming back. You've mentioned Colsey's planning on coming back. Obviously, Thomas, Faison, Greathouse is not left. Smith, we're going to see in the bowl game. Caleb Smith, who redshirted all year. The 3 that are going to sign next year. All of a sudden, Mike, you're back up 10, 11 bodies. It's all about bodies. So they're going to have plenty of guys to choose from come training camp.
So Mitchell committed to Notre Dame earlier today. And then last night, Notre Dame picked up a commitment from Jordan Clark from Arizona State, the son of Ryan Clark, longtime NFL defensive back, mostly starred with. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was going to say, it was someone's asking how did the Mitchell guy do? He had over 100 yards against Arkansas this year, so he played an SEC team with FIU talent and had a heck of a game. So he's a soft player. I mean, people need to go on YouTube and watch some of his film.
Jordan Clark, son of Ryan Clark, most notably with the Pittsburgh Steelers, current ESPN analyst, committed to Notre Dame. Clark is going to replace Thomas Harper at the nickel spot. He was a 4-star prospect back in the 2019 class. Clark in 11 games this season, 50 tackles, 9 pass breakups. In 2022, 47 tackles, 6 pass breakups. Clark allowed just a 40% completion percentage in cover 0 or cover 1. So kind of showing like, hey, he's pretty good at man coverage. Leaving him on the island a little bit. So this is his 6th year of college football in 2024. It should be noted that Freeman was on Ryan Clark's podcast over the summer. And now Jordan Clark, his son, of course, playing for Freeman in 2024. So 6-year player, of course, last year of eligibility. Thoughts on this commitment, Tim?
Yeah, you got Harper. Harper replaced Bracey. That's the nickel. That's the rover. Notre Dame fans still talk about, who's going to play a rover. There's really no rover. The rover is the nickel. That's Notre Dame's base. So they play 5 DBs 90+% of the time. And it's what it is. Just keep finding bodies to play that rover spot. And that's really what he is. He's a man guy. He plays tons of man the last couple of years with Bracey and Harper this past year. So he's a guy he played like 90% of his snaps were in man 2022. Different scheme, different coaching staff this past year. So if you go back to what he did 2 years ago, it's literally like Bracey and Harper, a guy that's going to come in here, be physical as could be, and play man all over the field against slot. So, Notre Dame got another good football player with excellent experience.
So we talked about Riley Leonard last week. The update here is that he is officially visiting campus. I believe it's Wednesday and Thursday. So really there's been 4 schools of note with Leonard: Notre Dame, A&M, Auburn, and Ohio State. A&M fizzled out early. Auburn, I don't think is in the mix anymore. I keep seeing Ohio State, but I really think that this kid's coming to Notre Dame, and I don't know if it's going to be particularly close. If he steps foot on campus at Ohio State, I just don't see that happening, to be honest with you guys.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that
the
Notre Dame gets Riley
Buckeyes are
Leonard.
going to get Ward. It sounds like from what I heard.
Notre Dame's going to get Riley Leonard unless
Yeah,
something crazy
you're
happens.
right.
In my
Buckeyes are going to.
opinion, we'll see. But yeah,
No, I mean this is exciting. I mean you need a quarterback, so they're going out and they're getting one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the portal. Depending on what list you look at and stuff like that. I mean we'll get into him. I mean we'll do a nice deep dive once it's official and things of that nature. So it's exciting that he's visiting. Hopefully he brings a couple of his Duke buddies that play defense with him. That would be really nice because they're some
yeah,
damn good, some really good players on D that are taking visits. And I know Notre Dame's chat with a few that's been out there. So exciting. We'll get into Riley once it's all official and things of that nature. But a tremendous skill set and a lot more to talk about him.
yeah. Bo Collins, how about this? A Trinity League guy from Kingston Villiamuasa School, St. John Bosco. So he was a class of 2021 prospect and a huge target for good old Dell Alexander back in the 2021 cycle. I remember interviewing Tyler Buckner and being like, hey, who are you out there recruiting? Bo Collins was definitely a name that Buckner would bring up. We'll talk about Buckner in a bit. 6'3", 210 pounds. I'm a huge Bo Collins fan. I mean, solid stats. I mean, not breakout stats or anything, but I'm still a fan of this young man. It's not like Clemson had like crazy good quarterback play in his time at Clemson. Career stats: 91 receptions, 1,290 yards, 11 touchdowns. And look at that. I mean, he's been a consistent contributor throughout 3 years.
Yep.
Knock on wood for this young man. I mean, look at that. Games played 11, 10, 11. He stayed healthy. He's been a consistent contributor. I think that Notre Dame would be a really nice get for the Irish. Now here's the thing. Underclassmen, and he's coming from Clemson. Like usually if Notre Dame's going to get an underclassman, a guy who has not graduated, it's like a Duke or like a Riley Leonard, right?
Yeah,
Or
Brandon Joseph.
Brandon Joseph, Tim's favorite player in the entire world. Kidding. Yeah, so this is interesting to me what Notre Dame's kind of able to do here. But yeah, Tim, would you like this get?
Yes, yeah. I mean, this is one. I mean, he's just going to be a solid football player, like you're saying. The guy who's played a ton of big time college football games the last 3 years, so he's going to be. He comes to Notre Dame. I mean, this is going to be a good get because he plays really, really competitive football. His whole background, his upbringing, all those things. So this is nothing but a big positive. I mean, you got, especially when you lose Tobias, who doesn't like to compete for balls, and then you go Bo Collins, who you watch any of his film, he's getting after it. So this is a big plus if Notre Dame's able to get him, the Florida International kid, and there's still like 5 other guys that are talking all over the place, right? That they're still in the mix. So Notre Dame's going to have a pretty loaded, I think experienced room, and then you're going to have these young guys doing what they should be doing, and that's learning and not having to be thrown in the fire like we saw this year.
All right. So that's Bo Collins again. Pretty sure he's Wednesday and Thursday. Josh Kelly, who we're going to talk about now, Washington State receiver, is Tuesday and Wednesday. I think he's on campus today. This all just kind of popped up yesterday.
Yeah.
Freeman's on the road recruiting. He's in Arizona today. My understanding is, like, I think Freeman either is already back in South Bend. He's there tonight and then tomorrow before he heads back out to Texas on like Wednesday night, I believe. And then Thursday, I reported about some of Freeman's travels, but I don't have Freeman's literal itinerary. I don't know where exactly it's going to be every minute, but Freeman's back in California Thursday. So I mean, the guy is just all over the place. So I think like he is with, he's on the road recruiting, comes back home to be with these official visitors. And yeah, so Josh Kelly in town, from Fresno, California, which has not been the most kind spot for Notre Dame recruiting over the years. Yeah, this young man, Tim, 2023, 61 receptions, 923 yards, and 8 touchdowns. And he transferred from Fresno State, where he played since 2019. And then just was at Washington State for a year, entering back in the portal. Is at Notre Dame. So for folks wondering, like, could Notre Dame take all three? I think they
Yes.
would. I
Yes.
think they would. Which,
Take
if
him.
Notre Dame signs Bo Collins, Josh Kelly, Riley Leonard, and Chris Mitchell, and that's your offense for just a 1-year rental, I think Mike Goolsby might lose his mind. I think Mike Goolsby might just go crazy with all the 1-year rentals. Anywho,
You need them. But
yeah.
that's the thing, Mike Singer. It's like
Tell
you
me,
need
Tim.
them. You
Tell
need
me.
them. It's like
Sound off, King.
you need these guys. I mean, my gosh, that's the whole goal is to win football games. We keep talking about this month after month, hour after hour. It seems it's like the goal is to win football games. They're bringing in some guys, a lot of experience, a lot of playmaking ability. What has Notre Dame lacked? And it boggles my mind that there's still Notre Dame fans that don't see it or believe it. Notre Dame lacks wide receivers. They do. And I'm going to keep yelling from the top of my lungs until it happens. Notre Dame wide receivers Notre Dame played 9 Power 5 games this year. 9. The wide receivers caught 52% of their targets. And that's not ball that doesn't mean 48% of balls are going over their heads, for crying out loud. Targets in the area to make a play. 52% is atrocious for a group, a whole room. So against 9 Power 5 teams. Say it what it was. I'm not saying everything was perfect. I'm just saying that as a group. So they need bodies. That allows these freshmen that are coming in. We always talk about loose emoji. You just need one of those 3. Well, one of the 3. Heck, the class of 2023, Mike's already chopped in half. They're down to 50% production, Mike. 50% with the 4 that they signed. So there you go with that. 2022, 0. And we already know about 21, 20, 19, atrocious. So it's the 4 years of brutal recruiting means you have to bring in 3 older guys for 1 year. And that's what they got to do. And this is just the era that we're in. You got to embrace it. That's my opinion.
Tim, $2 super chat. Is Mitchell a difference maker, best receiver on the roster?
Best receiver on the roster. I mean, let's get him here in spring ball and watch him run around in a Notre Dame uniform. No, man, Greathouse, I think, is going to be the best guy next year. He would have led the team in receptions this year had he stayed healthy. So I'm still thinking he's going to be the dude over the course of 12 games.
Crush Davis, $10 super chat said, still love the show, guys. Well, hey, Crush Davis, I'm glad it's still.
Still, okay, thank you.
Still. Were we in hot water? But in all seriousness, Crush Davis, really appreciate it. It's always good to see you in our shows. And then we have one from Ed, who I want to scroll up. I got our YouTube video over here. It is his first super chat. I thought so. I'm like, I haven't seen this name before. Ed, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Says, appreciate your effort, fellas. Check us back again tomorrow night as well, folks. Tim and I will be live 8 p.m. Good for you, Tim? 8 p.m. Eastern? So we will be playing like voice memos. I did really toy around the idea with doing live shows. Obviously live shows, live call-in shows where I would just take your guys' calls live. I think that was kind of a blessing in disguise that fell through. But now we have the voice memo option. So now I can screen the calls a little bit more. So that will be good. We already had a message come in today. So we'll do more like, let's dive into super chats, comments, and the voice memos that we post on our blueandgold.com message board, where we give those people the option first. I figured I'll open up to the Twitter crazies later if we don't get any messages from the message board folks, but I believe we will. So, but Ed, appreciate it. Hope to see you tomorrow as well, my friend. Okay, good stuff, Tim. We're going to talk Mike Brown in a little bit, Sun Bowl, CJ Carr, Tyler Buckner, Xavier Watts, and Maris Leofau. So we still have a ton to talk about, so don't go anywhere, folks, as we now hear about a easy way for folks to navigate the ticket purchasing process, which can be stressful, but it really shouldn't be. And Game Time makes that simple to go through the ticket purchasing process. It's gametime.co. Not gametime.com. Make sure you punch it in as gametime.co. It's a fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater near you with killer last minute ticket deals so you can get relaxed and hyped for that fun that you're going to have. And use the promo code BGI to get $20 off your first purchase. And best thing, they'll guarantee you're going to get the lowest price or they'll refund you 100%. Terms do apply. But you don't need to plan months in advance because you can get deals right up to Game Time. So snag the tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, make sure you use that promo code BGI for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So Mike Brown, new receivers coach at Notre Dame, not officially announced yet. Someone asked earlier. Sam Hartman for Heisman asked this question earlier. How about that? That username might need to be updated, my friend. Can Mike Brown had any contacts with portal receivers? My understanding is he shouldn't. I don't think he can yet until he's officially hired. So Mike Brown coming over from Wisconsin, where he worked with Luke Fickell, and of course was on the Cincinnati staff with Fickell, and half the Notre Dame staff was there as well. What was your reaction to this one, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, first thing you just go. I mean, I've never studied his background and things of that nature. You go read up on him, and you see, all right, he's I mean, I like his background. I like the fact, where he's from, where he's played. He got, as Mike Goolsby always likes to say, a cup of coffee. He got a couple years in the NFL. I think he played 3 or 4 years, 3 years, practice squad 1 year. So he's got that ability. He's young, which means, is he going to relate? That was something that we were trying to see with Stuckey, but he's been in football. I mean, he goes and plays college, NFL, right into coaching. His first job, people won't like this, his first coaching job was with Jim Harbaugh. So he was a GA for Harbaugh back in, I think, 16. So He's been football nonstop his whole entire life. He hasn't taken a 10-year break and tried to figure out the world and all that stuff. And, some people don't like it because, it's another Fickell, it's a Freeman friend. I look at it as, I think it's extremely smart for Marcus Freeman because, once again, as we just talked the last 20 minutes, that wide receiver room, was it toxic? Was it messed up? What was it? So Freeman needs somebody he could trust.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, he does. People are like, he should have went and hired this guy who's been around 25 years and all these other things. It's like, no, he needs that room to get cleaned up, as I keep saying. And he's got to do it with someone he's worked with. This whole outside hire thing is the most overblown talking point Notre Dame fans talk about all the time. It happens every now and then, but 99% of coaches always go with people they know.
Yeah. Small world kind of deal.
Crying out loud. Luke Fickell goes to Wisconsin. He gives him an associate head coach title.
Yeah.
It's some wide receiver Spanky now. Okay. The guy was making almost $700,000 a year, Mike, as a wide receiver coach. So Notre Dame didn't go bottom of the barrel digging for the cheapest guy out there. That's a big, big payday. So to get him away from Wisconsin means you must pay him more than Wisconsin. So that guy is going to be, he's a fast riser when you look at his, career coaching. So, and real quick, the only Cincinnati football I ever watched was Marcus Freeman when he was coming as the DC, and obviously the 2021 game. Like, he produced three, 4 wide receivers that got drafted the last couple of years. Notre Dame is going to go on their 4th straight NFL draft with 0 getting drafted. So this guy's produced more in a 2-year span than Notre Dame has in the last 4 years. Yeah. Notre Dame hasn't had a receiver drafted since Claypool. So 4 straight zeros for Notre Dame at the wide receiver position. I like it because Freeman is bringing in someone that he trusts, that he's worked with. I think that is so important more often than, especially in this situation. Let's just be in this situation where that room is as messed up as it is. He needs a guy that he trusts, and I just truly believe that.
I mean, I think we can kind of apply some of this to like our own careers, like or our hiring experiences. Like as you were
Yeah.
talking about that, Tim. I mean, we hire people, right? Like, heck, we just interviewed, or when we interviewed Jack Sobel earlier this year, and we're like, man, this kid looks really good on paper. We really liked his interview, but we have no idea what it's going to be like working with him until he gets in here, right? You have no idea, right? Turns out he's been phenomenal, and Jack has exceeded all expectations. But I remember when we hired at Blue and Gold, Patrick Angle in would that been 2020? Okay, we actually interviewed him for an opening that we had at a different rivals website in like 6 months before that, and I got to know Patrick really well through that interview process. And we kind of kept in touch. So when the Notre Dame job opened up, I was like, I know this guy. Let's go get him. So there's like, I think that can apply to what Freeman's doing to us. Like you want to get someone you can trust. Um, you didn't know Stuckey that well, and it didn't work out. But of course,
But,
also, you do
but
need
that's
to
a
go
great
outside
point.
your comfort zone sometimes. But if you can go within your comfort zone, then you should do that. Ben Skowronek, 7th round pick, Tim. How dare you forget Ben Skowronek, who played at Notre Dame for 1 year and got picked in the 7th
I
round.
swear to God, that's my bust. I thought he was a free agent.
It's okay, Tim. It's okay. Moving along, Mr. Hyde. Yeah, Notre Dame and Oregon State in the Sun Bowl. Do you know who Oregon State's starting quarterback will be in the game, Tim? Do you know off the top of your head?
That is just yeah. People started writing on the message board today, and I haven't dove into Oregon State, so I started reading the Oregon Live newspaper. The papers out in Oregon started scrolling through those today online, and yeah, their quarterback. It sounds like it's going to be the bowl game MVP last year. So, but he threw one pass this year as the third stringer. But he started 8 games last year. So he starts 8 games, Mike. This is kind of like a Notre Dame 2022 quarterback situation. You see where I'm going? He starts 8 games, bowl game MVP. Yeah, they're like, yeah, we're still going to go get DJ, just like Notre Dame went out and got Sam Hartman. So, and then obviously you have the hotshot freshman Childs, who's leaving, going to go to Michigan State and follow his coach Jonathan Smith. So yeah, they're going with the guy who threw one pass all year. He's got experience from last year, but that's going to be interesting
Yeah,
to see how this.
they don't really have a choice.
No,
So Notre Dame, Oregon State history, not so good for the Fighting Irish. And my last job was actually covering the Beavers. And as I left that beat to come here, a lot of Beavers fans reminded me of this on the way out. So I'm very aware of this. You have, the Chad Ochocinco, TJ Who's Your Daddy. That team in 2000, I believe it was the 2000 season, played on New Year's Day 2001.
yeah, 2001.
Forgive my memory. Mike Goolsby was on that Notre Dame team, 41-9 for the Beavers, and then 38-21, 2004, which would have been at the tail end of Goolsby's career at Notre Dame.
That's
Was
in
it the year
Willingham.
he was hurt? I can't remember.
No, yeah, that was the Insight.com Bowl.
Was that the year Goolsby? Wasn't Goolsby out in 2004?
That was his 5th year, the 04. That's after Willingham.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
The DC was the interim coach.
Goolsby. I'm sorry, Goolsby. I know Goolsby's gonna watch this. He's gonna get pissed at me for forgetting. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so
Goolsby.
so Goolsby's been a part of the 2 Oregon State games. Yeah, anyone that's been around, watching Notre Dame football as long as I have, we all remember the 2000 Fiesta Bowl. The spanking that Oregon State put on. I want to say, Mike, they had 25 or more JUCOs on that team, man. They were loaded with junior college guys, and they got after it. That was a heck of a football team, that 2000 Oregon State team. So, but yeah, I mean, Oregon State's having a couple opt-outs, a couple quarterbacks, tight end. I saw their starting corner just left today. Probably, the 2 All-American tackles are going to be Joe Alt, and their right tackle at Oregon State will be the top 2 tackles in all the All-American teams this year, though obviously both of them most likely won't play in this game. So it'll be interesting to see what this is. Their defense is pretty solid. Offense is really good, but a lot of their best players on offense are not going to play in this game.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm still being a pinch skeptical. It's like, because who knows what still is to come with Notre Dame. and their opt-outs and things of that nature. So we don't know. It's all going to be, thrown out these next few days before they kick back into practice this weekend, and we'll learn more and more. But it could be both of these teams on offense. Mike, this could be a 13-10 Iowa type of football game.
God, please don't say. Goolsby was out the 2003 season.
Yeah, that's right.
Had a an injury there, torn labrum, I believe. So
Yeah,
yes.
in 04.
People keep asking about Hartman. I'm going to say what Freeman said. Was that just yesterday? Goodness gracious. That he's going to let those people make their own decisions and announce it publicly. But if Hartman does not play in the game, I've said this before. One, he said after the weight game, he was like 2 more games. He made it kind of assumed. So maybe he's had a change of heart. We'll see what Hartman has to say. But I would need to know before I judge him on that. I want to know I hope he gives a reason for why he's not playing in that game, because for all that I love this place so much, if he dips out just because he doesn't want to get hurt or whatever, I would be pretty disappointed. And I in my opinion, everyone can think however they want. That would be a black mark on Sam Hartman in his time at Notre Dame. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait till it's official, I guess, and we'll see what happens. But I guess I'm the opposite, because when you say those things, you're thinking. I mean, when all this talk about the bowl game and everything after Stanford, all these players are expecting to play LSU on January 1st in the Reliant Quest. So that kind of Louisville's god awful performance, knocked them so deep out of the polls. They didn't. That's how the ACC pecking order went, and Notre Dame fell all the way down into the Sun Bowl. So, man, I guess I'm just like, yeah, why play? I mean, why? That's
I already told you what.
Why?
Don't
if you're
hold
not
on,
play,
don't have all been all about. Oh, I'm all about Notre Dame and all
but
this.
he was all. Hold on, Mike. He was all about Notre Dame for 12 games. So you want Sam Hartman, who's played 12 games with Estime, Fisher, Alt. He's losing 4 wide receivers. 3 of them caught touchdowns. His backup tight end, who had 4 touchdowns. All these guys are not playing in the game, but the quarterback should.
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion, yes.
You're nervous because Steve Angeli's might have to start, and you're going to have to do a live post-game show off of Steve Angeli's performance. That's what you're nervous about.
Yeah, that's not it, Tim. That is not it. I've been saying this about Hartman for weeks.
So Sam Hartman, who's played 6 years of college, should just go out there and play with a makeshift offense. The entire offense is brand new outside of Pat Coogan.
Yes, I do. He played with a makeshift offense for a good bit of the year with all of the receivers and tight ends getting hurt, offensive linemen getting hurt. The only thing that didn't, the running backs didn't have the injuries. Otherwise, it was makeshift throughout the whole season. So what about the game where they're changing out offensive linemen just to try shit out? What about that, Tim?
Well, that was just bad coaching. Let's be honest. That was stupid. Blatant stupid. Put that on a bumper sticker. Why the heck did they think that was a good idea? Hey, let's go against one of the best defenses in the country and rotate linemen, guys. What the hell are they thinking?
All right, Tim, we got a lot more to talk about. So we'll continue on. So that's Notre Dame facing Oregon State's 10.5 point favorite last time I checked. December 29th, 2 p.m. Eastern time, CBS. Notre Dame. Oregon
What's the
State.
over under? 27?
It was like 46.
Okay. That thing's going to skyrocket down once all this stuff starts to settle. I thought someone posted today it was 8.5, so it's already gone down a couple.
Okay. CJ Carr practicing with Notre Dame this month. It's, I believe, next weekend. It's not a loophole, but what exactly it is, I don't really know how to explain it. There's because he will practice with Notre Dame before he even signs. So I think it's something with him getting admitted into school, and then there's some period at the academic calendar that allows this. I don't know. It's crazy. But this happens at other programs. I personally do not know if Notre Dame has done this with other players before. It has. This is the first time since I've been covering Notre Dame that Notre Dame has had a early enrollee, true freshman practice leading up to the bowl game. I don't think he can play in the bowl game. But
No,
yeah, CJ Carr. Thoughts on this?
no, I like it. I like it. I mean, go and get some because that was the thing last year. Nico, the 5-star who went to Tennessee did it last year, and I remember my buddy coaches at Warren, longtime friend coaches at Warren, and he was telling me how he loved it. He thought it was awesome experience, and it's the same thing. Do you want to play in the bowl game, or do you want to go play in the Army All-American Bowl, whatever the heck it is nowadays, or do you want to go jumpstart your career and roll from there? So I wouldn't be surprised if now this is starting to be the new thing with the high school guys. I want to go play the Army All-American Bowl or the Under Armour one, whatever the heck it's called, the ESPN one that they do. It's Under Armour still, right? I'm talking about those. Yeah, those ones. So he's going to opt out of that, which allows him to come and practice early and get about 10 days of practice or whatever it is. I like it. So at least he'll be out there, get a little bit of work, have some fun, and jumpstart his career. It seems like he committed 28 months ago, so he's finally showing up, Mike. It's been a long ride.
Yeah, it could only be good. It's basically a spring ball before your spring ball.
Sure.
So I think this is something you'll see at Notre Dame at the quarterback position moving forward. Now, will they do it with the defensive lineman or a safety? I don't think so, but I do believe that they will with their quarterbacks moving forward, especially if the guy's an early enrollee. I don't think they can if he's not. How about Tyler Buckner entering the transfer portal as a men's lacrosse player and not football? When you saw that, Tim, were you pretty shocked? What was your thought?
Yeah. Yes. I'm just like, man, it's transfer portal. First off, I didn't know there was a transfer portal, I guess, for lacrosse. Obviously there is for other sports, but don't really focus on it too much. But man, it's interesting. I mean, he's coming back to Notre Dame, finish up his degree. He was, and then you start Googling his background. The dude was a freak when it came to lacrosse back in the day before he got into football. So he's gonna come. He'll be on the team. He's a outstanding athlete. You can't say enough positives about him as an athlete. He is outstanding.
Very good athlete. I don't think he's a good quarterback. He's a very good athlete.
Yeah. His quarterback skills have shown, obviously, especially when he goes down to Alabama and he's basically handed the job at South Florida and he didn't take it. So, that's what happened. Yeah. Tremendous athlete. I'm looking forward to it because Notre Dame lacrosse, obviously, defending national champs. So it'll be fun. They'll be on ESPN, ESPN2, and things of that nature. Their lacrosse games. I'll be fun to watch him. I'm sure he's going to play because he's a damn good athlete. So, I'm excited.
So Buckner entering the portal as a men's lacrosse player. It's been reported that he's going to remain with the Alabama football program through the rest of their championship run. And then I think it was reported elsewhere, and we've reported blue and gold like Notre Dame is the likely landing spot for him. One national lacrosse reporter didn't know that existed. Said like it's fully intended. He more or less said Buckner, it's a commitment of sorts. And again, we've been hearing that at blue and gold for the past week or so, which it's totally fascinating. You mentioned it, that lacrosse program, it's going to be on national TV. It's going to get it was already going to get a lot of coverage and focus when coming off a national championship season. But now you got Tyler Buckner, one of the hottest topics and figures for Notre Dame since 2019. Tim, seriously, 2019, when he committed to Notre Dame and accounted for 81 touchdowns his junior year at a Bishop School in La Jolla. So there's a ton of fascination here. Excited to see what Mike Goolsby has to say about that. We're planning on having him on a show Thursday night. So, Tyler Buckner returning to Notre Dame. Now, will he walk on to the football team?
No.
I have no idea, guys. I think that would be a distraction. I don't think that would be, but what the hell do I know? I hope it doesn't happen just for, what that would mean. Actually, Tim, that would be amazing for content. I would pull my hair out, but it would be really good for content, Tim.
Yeah, but he's not. No, it's just a distraction. He's not going to play quarterback. So it's like, whatever. Is he going to come and play running back or something as a walk on? But yeah, he's going to come. He's got one more year of school, finish up his degree, play lacrosse, start enjoying life. And I'm excited for it. Seriously, I'm going to tune in because they play now. I mean, their lacrosse schedule is like every game is against a top 10 team. It is intense. So I've watched a little bit of lacrosse. Got a good buddy back at lacrosse coach back in Southern California, one of the big Catholic powers, and I've been to a few of the games over there. Lacrosse is fun, so I look forward to it.
Okay. Another topic here to discuss, Mr. Hyde, and folks, please hit the thumbs up on the video if you have not done so yet, is Xavier Watts winning the Bronco Nagurski Award for the best defensive player in the country. Do you think this one was deserving? And he did announce today that he is going to play in the Sun Bowl. TBD on if he's going to come back for would that be 5th year? Yeah. Nice honor for him.
First of all, I was stunned. Like, whoa, the amount of awards Notre Dame guys have been losing, since Tyler Eifert won the Mackey as a junior, doesn't win it as a senior, and then ever since then it's just been like Notre Dame been getting shut. Obviously, the Buckets, they won a couple of those, but a lot of these other ones. No, I was like, whoa, Xavier Watts, congrats! I mean, what a story! Seriously, top. He was the second best receiver. Obviously, that 2020 class. He was Jordan Johnson, Xavier Watts. Notre Dame fans are doing backflips. They can't wait to see these awesome wide receivers. In 2021, Marcus Freeman's the DC, and he's like, I want that dude on D. Remember? Got him. He's playing Rover. He's playing outside linebacker in 2021 and some scrub time as they get him in. And then, man, last year, I must have said 317 times, play Xavier Watts. Every time we did a live postgame show, you just saw his athleticism shining on Saturdays. He's electric. And then this year, man, what a hell of a season. So that was awesome. It's awesome for Notre Dame, awesome for Marcus Freeman, recruiting, safeties, right? Safety recruiting, a lot to left. It's scary until we see what starts to take place with some of these guys. But you got Watts, Hamilton, Gilman, who had a couple great years in Notre Dame, is a stud with the Chargers. So there's some, obviously Harrison Smith being a first-round pick way back in the day. So there's some really good safeties, and hopefully Notre Dame could start to recruit off of this, bringing in some elite dudes in the country.
Yep. And then last item for the show, Maris Leofau declaring for the NFL draft. Not a surprise. Those 3 upperclassmen linebackers, I don't think all 3 of them will be gone. I think one might come back. Leofau obviously not going to be one.
Yeah. And the one you're obviously talking about is Kaiser, because J.D. Bertrand's accepted an all-star game invite. So,
oh shit. I think Kaiser might come back. There you go.
But which is good for Kaiser. Kaiser's a solid football player. The linebacker room, if you just go, the linebacker room is like youngins, a lot of youngins. So they need an old graybeard in Kaiser who's been. It's going to be his 4th year if he comes back. 4th year with Freeman, so he should be able to do all this stuff with his eyes closed and have fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a long time. You start thinking about Freeman, how he's been at Notre Dame. You always forget about his DC year. So you got Bowen, Cahoon coming, Asa coming, Snead. Is he going to be a guy finally as a junior? Tuli Alamaka and Burnham were the 2 studs in a couple of years ago. They're playing D-line. So, you can't they're no longer linebackers. So the linebacker room's young for 2024. Marist, same thing with Tyree and these other guys. Gave Notre Dame 5 years, 2 years as a starter. Played a ton of football for the Irish. Did a lot of really good things. Him and JD. I'm sure JD is going to make it official soon as well. So 5 years at Notre Dame is a long time. Wish him well. It's exciting, especially him going real quick, going to the Senior Bowl. That is like the most exclusive all-star game for the college seniors that you could have. And him to get an invite. Cam Hart got an invite and obviously accepted. So that's going to be great to watch those 2 guys practice down there.
Okay, last thing before we sign off. I mentioned earlier, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do like a call-in, not call-in show, voice memo show. So I have a website where people can send in voice memos. So I'm going to play one, and I just need the chat to tell me if you guys can hear it. just so I can make sure for technical reasons. I tried it before we recorded. Tim said he can hear it. I just need to make sure the YouTube chat can as well.
Do you think Riley Leonard will be able to help Notre Dame more than Sam Hartman?
So I just need the YouTube chat to let me know if you guys heard that loud and clear or not.
Yes.
I hope the answer was yes. If not, then I'd back to square one. So, but yeah, Tim, I think that covered pretty much everything. People kept asking about Al Golden. Okay, thank you guys. I think Al Golden's coming back. I have no I mean, we're not going to speculate a ton. I mean, people are asking about so many transfer players, guys. I can't spend too much time, just answering, speculation or not. Like we gotta, when I hear something, like good cold hard evidence, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
yeah. With Golden, because obviously that's always out there. I mean, if he's going to go to the NFL, it's not going to happen until Black Monday or after the Super Bowl. After the season ends. So you're looking at another. It's kind of like when he came to Notre Dame. Still a long way off for NFL jobs and things of that nature. So when Mike Singer says we don't know exactly, that could be 2 months from now, for crying out loud. So hope he stays, puts another year in, a third year with all these young guys. I mean, Notre Dame's defense could be dynamic if they get a handful of these guys to return and then flush it with these really, really good recruits from Freeman's first couple of years. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, if you are new or not a blueandgold.com member, special offer for you guys, $1 gets you access for your first, 2 months of access for new subscribers. Promo code UND1, letter U, ND1. And yeah, before you get out of here, please hit the thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to our channel, of course, for more content. Tim, that is going to do it again. 8 p.m. Eastern time. We will see you guys then. Yeah, great show tonight, Tim. Thought you brought it. You were wrong on everything you disagreed with me on, but otherwise, Tim, you did a really nice job.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And some of those we'll hear back from and we'll get into them. Man, there's going to just be a circling fire and squad on some of these issues that we'll get into and whatnot. But I just, before we end, it's just like sometimes Notre Dame fans take a deep breath, let these coaches coach, right? Let these guys build. And sometimes you got to, the old bloodletting, right? You got to drain it, get rid of the poisons, and start fresh. He's going into year 3. So far, so good. We'll see what happens the rest of this off season. And this Sun Bowl, Mike, it's going to be wild. It is going to be a glorified spring game, but we'll get into this down the road. I'm very, very excited to see a lot of these guys playing. So it's going to be I'm excited for the game. A lot of people aren't. I am. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. Appreciate you. Make sure you come back tomorrow night. We're going to take your questions, super chats, all the good stuff. Appreciate you all. And as always, we will catch you next time.